What's up, guys? Let's be real for a sec. A lot of the stuff that we do, we say it's for us, but most of the time, it's really not. Like, think about it. You start going to the gym, you tell yourself it's for your health, for discipline, for you. But deep down, you're kind of hoping that someone notices, right? You want that moment when someone says, "Bro, you've been lifting?" Or when your shirt starts fitting different and people treat you a little better. You grind a skill, editing, coding, lifting, whatever it is. And yeah, you tell yourself it's because you like the grind or you're building something. But a part of you is also doing it because it makes you look better. It makes people respect you. You want your friends to think that you're making moves, or you want to post that win and get some kind of validation that you're ahead. And again, that's not evil. It's not bad to want recognition. It's very normal, actually. But if you're not careful, you start building your identity on how you look to other people, instead of who you actually are when nobody's watching. And that's when things get real fragile, because now your whole self-worth is tied to reactions. If people clap for you, you feel good. If they don't, you tend to spiral. You start questioning yourself or your worth or your effort. You start thinking that you're falling behind, even if you're actually doing just fine. And here's the worst part. You won't even notice it's happening. You just slowly become more reactive. You start choosing what to do based on how it'll be seen, not whether it actually matters to you. You're not choosing your path. You're choosing a presentation. And bro, that's completely exhausting. You become this performer that's constantly trying to look successful or sound motivated and stay impressive. And that's a full-time job in its own, because no matter what level you hit, someone's always one step ahead of you. There's always someone with more muscle or more money, more followers, better gear, better results. You start comparing your life to highlight reels from people you don't even know. People who probably feel just as lost as you. So now you're in this endless loop. You do more to try to stand out. You get burnt out. You question why you're even doing it. And then you do more anyways because you feel like you have to keep proving something. And what sucks is, a lot of people live their whole life just like that, chasing the next milestone or hoping it'll finally make them feel whole, and then realizing that every new level comes with the same old emptiness. That little voice in the back of your head saying, "Why doesn't this feel like enough?" That's why you hear about billionaires or athletes or celebs, all these people that you think have it made, still being miserable or depressed or lost. It's not because they didn't work hard. It's because they built their entire identity around how they look to others and never figured out how to just be themselves. They got all the stuff, the money, the respect, the flexes, and it still didn't fix that internal emptiness. Because the problem was never the stuff. It was the mindset behind why they wanted it. And here's the thing that no one really says. This mindset doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in very quietly. It starts when you're a teen or you're in your early 20s. You start chasing validation before you even realize it. And unless you actively stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? It becomes automatic to you. It becomes your default. And then you wake up at 28 or 30 or whatever, and you realize you don't even know who you are without a goal to flex, without an audience, or without someone telling you good job. You become super dependent on outside approval just to feel okay with yourself. That's why people tend to get anxious out of nowhere. That's why you can be doing everything right, quote unquote, and still feel like something's wrong. Because you're living in reaction and not intention. You're not choosing your habits or your thoughts or your goals. You're just responding to pressure. And when that's how you operate, you tend to drift. Slowly, but definitely. You drift into a version of yourself that's polished on the outside, but disconnected on the inside. You might look like you're doing great, but feel like you're faking it constantly. And honestly, that's the part that scares me the most. The idea that I could spend years chasing things, grinding, pushing, and then find out it was all for an image, for a version of me that I didn't even like in the first place. And I think that's something a lot of us feel but don't even talk about. We just keep pushing it down. We keep performing, we keep grinding, hoping that the next level fixes it. But it never will, if you're not doing it for you. So now you're probably wondering, alright, then what do I do with all that? Like, yeah, I get it. I've been living for other people. I've been doing things so I can be seen a certain way. But what now? Here's the thing. It's not about pretending you don't care what people think. That's just fake stoicism. Nobody's fully immune to wanting recognition. The shift happens when you stop lying to yourself about it. You've got to be brutally honest first. Like, yeah, part of me wants to be seen. Part of me wants people to notice that I'm getting better. I like when people see me improving because it feels good. But when you admit that out loud, even just to yourself, you're not pretending anymore. You're not stuck in a denial. And that's what gives you power again. Because now you can redirect that energy. You can shift the focus from how does this look to who am I becoming by doing this consistently? And that changes absolutely everything. You still go to the gym, but now you're doing it because it's hard, because it teaches you to push through when you don't feel like it, because you're proving to yourself that you don't quit. You're building actual discipline, not just focusing on aesthetics. You still work on your craft, whether it's editing, coding, content, whatever. But now it's not about looking impressive. It's about building a skill set that could support your future. Sometimes you can use this to build a real foundation, build options for yourself, take care of the people you love later on. You start caring about money, not for flexes or clout, but because you want freedom, like actual freedom. The kind where you don't have to say yes to things just because you're broke. The kind where you can move how you want, build how you want, spend your time doing stuff that actually matters to you. And if you do this long enough, if you start living with that internal focus, the need to impress fades on its own. You start showing up for yourself, not for the comments or the approval. You just show up for the version that you know you're capable of being, even if nobody else sees it yet. Because here's the truth, and it's honestly pretty simple. You are becoming someone, whether you mean to or not. Every habit, every decision, every repeated thought, it's all shaping you. You can either drift into whoever the world molds you into, or you can take the wheel and start building with intention. That doesn't mean you have to have your whole life figured out. It just means that you start paying attention. You stop letting your emotions run everything. You stop outsourcing your identity to how people react to you. Instead, you start asking better questions. Not, does this look cool, or will people be impressed by this? But who am I becoming if I keep doing this? Is this something I'll be proud of 5 years from now? Or would I still do this if no one ever gave me credit for it? And bro, when you start thinking like that, you start moving completely differently. You're not trying to go viral, you're just trying to get better. You're not trying to look like you have money. You're trying to build wealth that actually lasts. You're not just lifting to get compliments. You're lifting to become stronger in every way. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. And yeah, you're of course going to slip sometimes. You're still going to post for attention once in a while. You're still going to feel good when people notice your progress, because that's completely human. But the difference is, you'll know that's not the core reason you're doing it. It's like this. If you plant a seed in shallow dirt, the second that the wind hits, it's completely gone. But if you build roots super deep in yourself, if you really know your why, you're completely good when things like that come up, no matter what the outside world says. Because now your foundation is completely internal. You're not chasing approval, you're becoming someone that's truly solid. You're not chasing claps, you're chasing growth. You're not performing, but you're actually living. So yeah, I'm not saying stop going to the gym. I'm saying go for the right reasons. I'm not saying stop learning high-value skill. I'm saying use them to build a real life, not just a feed. I'm not saying don't care what people think in its entirety. I'm saying don't let it own you. Because the truth is, a lot of people live their lives reacting, floating, and drifting. They never really stop and ask, what kind of person do I want to be? So they chase the image, the optics, the momentary high of approval, and it runs their entire life. But if you can just stop for a second and start shifting that focus inward, even just a little bit, you'll be ahead of 90% of people your age. You'll be more solid, more grounded, and more free overall. You'll start building a life that is actually yours, not theirs. I hope you guys can take a thing or two from this, and I'll see you on the next video.